Today we are presenting HUB Series. HUB Series is a new device solution that is a USB and HDMI matrix and switcher, and also have some additional features that I'm going to present. We have two models. One is the HUB30, that is a 4x2 matrix solution, and we have HUB35, that is a 5x2 hub system, that in this case is composed of a main unit and an extender that you can have up to 100 meters between the extender and the hub. So the main purpose of this solution is that you can have up to two sources connected at the same time, and you can share the content in two displays. For example, in this case, we are having the same content in both displays, but I can change to another mode that I can have two computers or two devices presenter. So in this case, I change the mode, and automatically I'm going to select in one display which display I want to show each content. So in this case, I'm selecting my computer that is connected via HDMI and USB to this to the matrix, and is displaying on this. And for the second computer is connected, in this case Jorge laptop is connected via USB-C cable directly to the matrix. Of course, I can invert the presentation, or I can choose a different source. For example, now I change. If I want to connect, for example, I want to display the MTR or the sunroom solution or the room computer that is installed in this room, I select this source and only I need to accept. And in this display, I'm going to show, in this case is a sunroom system. When we are connecting all the room devices, cameras, speakerphone, and everything is connected to the hub, I can have access to all these devices for the computer that you have selected. In this case, the computer that is selecting the control, if I change, for example, to my computer, at this moment, my computer is connected to the input number 3. In this case, I have a green light here. That means that all the devices connected, cameras, speakerphone, all the audio system and everything, can be accessed from my computer. If I want to have all these devices connected to Jorge computer, that is in the number 1, I only need to set here, I change, and now all the devices are connected to Jorge computer. And what is more, you can see that this computer is connected with a single USB-C cable. In this case, this computer is display port over USB-C. So the desktop, the devices, everything is connected with one single cable. But if we connect this USB-C to the source number 1, we can deliver power to charge the computer. So in this case, we are delivering up to 100 watts to power this computer with one single cable. So it's really, really convenient. As you can see, now I have the same computer in both displays. It is a way that we can use, for example, to switch to another computer, to my computer. And here we are changing to a desktop extension. In this case, I have my private content in my display, and both displays are just an extension of my desktop. For example, I can move a window from this computer to the other computer, okay? So we can put in this way, or we can move to the other, no? We can, of course, we can invert the position of the monitors. So we can use this as a second monitor, third monitor, we can play with this, okay? So we can set up, and you can see that if I move this from this, I can move to the other. It's a desktop extension. And it is very interesting because I can have my private area in my laptop, and here the presentation. The typical situation is that if I'm using a touch screen, an interactive display, we have the touchback. We can connect the touchback of the IFP directly to the hub, and the hub is going to send the interaction to control my computer from here. So it's really interesting for presenting. And the typical case, I am in my room, I want to switch back to the MTR or to some rooms or to any room computer. The only I need to do is to change here. So you can see we have the Zoom rooms in this case, but could be an MTR or could be any other meeting solution, room computer. If I want to go back to my computer, the only I need to do is to switch. Remember that all the devices, cameras, speakerphone, and everything that we have connected to the hub can be used in the Zoom rooms, or if I switch back to my computer, all these devices are available in my computer to start the call that I want. In this case, it is my computer. So really convenient just to switch with one single panel. But we can do more things. Let me show how we have connected all the devices to this machine, to the HUB30, and then we are going to see more things. Okay, let me show how we have installed this solution. Of course, this device comes with a bracket that you can install under the table, behind the screen, so you prefer. We have different possibilities to install this device. In this case, we put on top of this table. So here we have the 4 inputs. Remember that the HUB35 has an extender, and you can have 5 simultaneous sources connected. When we are talking about source, we are talking about a computer, we are talking about an MTR, Zoom rooms, etc. As I mentioned before, we have connected Jorge computer using a USB-C to the first input. In this input, in this source, we are sending the desktop from Jorge computer, we are connecting the cameras, the speakerphone, and everything directly to his computer. And also, we are delivering power, in this case up to 100 watts. We have a second source based on USB-C. In this case, it's not delivering power. The power delivery is only in the first one. And we have another 2 sources that are compounded by an HDMI and USB-B cable, USB 3.0B. In this case, it is connected to my computer, that is older computer, and here we have connected to the room computer. In this case, it's a Zoom rooms. We are connecting directly. It is everything related to the inputs or the sources. On the back of the panel, of course, we have the power, we have the network connection, we have a port to connect, to control devices, to integrate devices, and the most important, of course, we have 2 HDMI input for the display number 1, display number 2, and here we have 4 USB-A ports to connect the different room devices. In this case, we have connected a CAM 550, a TR, auto tracking camera, TR 315, we have an unused port, and the last one is a phone 540. Because another interesting solution of this system is that we can control the room devices directly from the touch panel. Let me show you the touch panel. We are using CP10 to control the system. CP10, remember, that is our touch panel, 10-inch PoE touch panel that we use, for example, to control our BB378, to control MT300, or, for example, to control this device. And here we have, of course, we can do the whole setup of the system, but we have 2 main buttons here. One is the meeting button, that when we enter on this mode, we can switch the different sources. Very simple. For example, if we click here, we are changing to the first input, that in this case is Jorge computer. You can see that we have a green dot, that it means that Jorge computer is receiving the USB devices that are connected to this hub. For example, if I change to number 4, I accept, automatically all the devices that are connected via USB to this device are connected here. But if I change to my computer, all the devices will be connected to my computer. It is the way. When we are in 2 sources, because we want to display 2 different sources in the same in 2 different monitors, we can choose, for example, to have in the first source we have my computer, and in the second source we have Jorge computer. If we want to do the opposite, to give the control of the devices to Jorge, we select here, and for example, we are going to select my computer or the Zoom room system in the second monitor. When I say second monitor, it is the second output. because the monitors at the end, we can click here and we can invert from one side to other side. Remember that we can have two sources or one single source, that is the most common, and we can do duplicate or we can do extension. It is depending what you require. But it is not the only that we can do with this system. For example, if we want to connect in a wireless mode to this system, we want to present from one computer directly using the network but not using any physical USB cable or HDMI cable, the only we need to do is to click here, and in the computer, when we enable this, in the computer we can start the sharing and automatically you are going to share the content. I will show you this later. And it's more, we can do more things. If we want, for example, let me select here, and we go to the main menu. In the main menu, this device can also connect to the cameras and the speakerphone that we have connected during a call. We can go to the room control, and in the room control, of course, you can select the different cameras that we have installed in this. We can call different presets, or we can move the camera manually, or zoom in, zoom out. We can do what we want, or switching the camera. And for example, if we want to enable auto tracking, because it's an auto tracking camera, we can do this, or we can move. It is what we want. The same for the audio system. In this case, we have a phone 540. If we want to mute, you are going to see that is mute. If I click unmute, automatically the system is going to unmute. If I want to control the volume or reduce the volume, as you can see, I can reduce the volume or I increase the volume. So everything is integrated, so during the call you can play with this. Let me show you how we can use the wireless sharing function. I have disconnected the HDMI and the USB. The only we need to do is to open the AVer Room Management, that is the same software that we use for the rest of the AVer product, and select AVer Share. So AVer Share automatically is going to find all the devices that are in your network, and then you can start the sharing. If I click here, I click Start, and automatically you are going to see in the big screen that we are sharing the content and we can do everything that we want. Okay? So it's a simple way to use a wireless sharing, built-in wireless sharing function on this device. Of course, this device you can use any other wireless sharing hardware connected to the HDMI inputs of the system. But in case that you don't want to use any external system for this, with this device, with this solution, is really convenient, because only need to run this software in the computer that you want to share. To stop the sharing, the only you need to click is stop here, and automatically is going to stop. And then with the CP10, you can select the other source as you prefer. Okay, when we have selected, for example, in this case, we are selecting my computer. If I go to Teams, you can see that I can access to all the devices that are connected to the HUB30. So the HUB30 is connected via USB to my computer, and I can select, for example, the phone 540 that is connected to the hub, and also I can select the cameras that are connected to the system. For example, the Cam 550 is connected directly to the hub, and from the hub is coming to this device. Okay, so you can select. But there is an additional way that if you are using selected models of AVer, we can generate a new camera in the system and a new audio system that is going to add some additional feature. For this, we previously configured one camera is a Cam 550 on the front, and we have an auto tracking camera on the back. Let me go to the room control, and I'm going to enable the AI mode, Connect AI. I'm going to enable this mode, and I'm going to show you how it works. Okay, now we have enabled the AI function. So in this case, we are capturing directly from the screen using the Windows camera. But imagine that you have selected a new device that appears in Teams, that is HUB30. In this case, what you get as a camera, as an audio system, is the zoom of the AI processing of the two cameras that we have connected to the front and to the rear of the room. And for the audio system is embedded in the same cable. So you are going to find a video device that the name is HUB30 and audio device that the name is HUB30 also. In this case, you can see that when we are sit on the table, the camera is doing a kind of out of frame. But in case that, for example, I go to the presenter area, will happen this. I am in front of the presenter area. We can configure the way that it works. So at this moment, the camera is tracking me. So if I move, the camera will come with me. It's doing a zoom mode. I can move in this way. So if I back, I'm doing my presentation. In this case, remember that it is not using audio tracking, it's created by image. So if I move again, it will come with me. Okay. If I go back to the table with my colleagues, the camera automatically will switch. When I sit back, the camera will come with me, and automatically after a few seconds, the system is going to frame to us. So it is another way to have a front and rear camera auto switching based on image. So it's another help that HUB30 can provide to complete your solution.